Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wrath of the Righteous with me, Bring It On. Last episode I forgot to speak to Finian, see how he's doing after the Bladesmith. I want to chat. I'm always up for a chinwag. What does it feel like being a living weapon? Well, I don't feel like I am one. For me, deep down, I'm still a human, you know? I still see everything around me the same way. I can even sense some things. And when I fight, it's like I'm fighting on my own, not in someone's hand. Does that make sense? I can't really explain it. I just know that I'm still Finian Dismar, a Pathfinder, and that's what I'll always be. It's a good thing I didn't eradicate you last episode like you wanted me to. And he has no new effects, he's just a +5 now. We'll check in on the Crusade. I do want to swing by the Storyteller as well, because we found that magic essence at the Bladesmith workshop. Let's go rest up first, then we'll come back to the decrees. We only have one more day left on that relic. We can start the next relic and set out on another adventure.
I'll go ahead.
Lon, can you please explain why mortals insist on so many different forms of address? Sir, madam, my lord? I can barely keep track of them all.
You know, I ask myself that same question. I think it's just a stupid Uplander custom. Sometimes I get the feeling that mortals make their language as complicated and confusing as possible to make outsiders easy to spot.
Has his name been pronounced Lon this whole time? I've been saying Lan. I mean, I know I'm mispronouncing several names. I keep saying Alushanira, even though I know it's Alushanira. And I say Arushalai instead of Arushalay, so I'm gonna keep saying Lan.
I know the way.
Lan the man. It sounds better. Lan the man. You can't say Lon the man. I guess you could say Don and Lon. Our report. Sila's plan worked. Jane, by hearing the words of the commander's loyal officers, the soldiers willingly turned in the instigators, restoring the army's obedience. In the fate of the Stone of Ghostly Pathways, shamans, heirs of the Sarkorian faith, rejoice. Their ancient relic has been torn from the claws of demons. They're ready to place it on the commander's gear, to help take revenge for their lost homeland. Now to choose the item the stone will adorn. I don't use size. I tend not to replace circlets unless they give me more attribute points. Maybe with a ring. It's the item we're most likely to use. Strengthen the chain of command. Why can't I do this one? An amulet. What? Alright, let's just do this one. The branch of the last ash. Alright. Let's go visit the Storyteller, and then we will set off more questing.
Follow my lead.
Now, I do know there's a couple places that I've missed in this playthrough. specifically at the Lost
As it
Chapel
should be.
and in Alushanira. So it's possible I won't be able to finish this last item through the Storyteller. I wonder how many buckets of paint it would take to paint one tower. What if you then wanted to paint speckles or dots on it? Weird thing for Targona to say, right? And I guess we haven't had a lot of interactions with Targona. Sounds like something Ivu would say. It's a pleasant way to unwind. I just can't wait for the main course. Battle for Threshold. Let's take a peek around and see if we can find the rest of those legendary advisors. I still can't afford it.
That is not wrong. I'll go
I
ahead.
do find it hard to imagine that Mephistopheles is just hanging out somewhere in Dresden. Hope to see this city as a peaceful settlement, not a fortress. Yeah, Ivu says the same thing Targona said. I'm assuming that's a bug. So I wonder where Mephistopheles is at. So Hal shows up on the map, but Targona, Shamir, and Ivu don't. Well, they don't have a lot to say, so I'm not going to waste too much time looking for Mephistopheles. I might look for him around at some point off camera. So I'm curious where he's standing at, because he stands out a little bit more than the rest of the legendary advisors, being, what, 15 feet tall? Has, what, I think four or six wings. Shoot, I was supposed to grab Darren. That's fine, we have Land's Quest. We'll do that one instead. Gotta go with the flow. I use these armies to kind of map some of this stuff out as we go. I can't take that path. Since we're sending them to fight, I'm going to use Call to Arms on this army. Just to help speed things up a little bit. I'll probably burn both these cooldowns as well. Mighty Tempest and Vanish. Alright, Lan, let's go take care of your quest. We'll swing by the Laughing Caves on the way there. Alright, so I'm going to leave this army over here to help defend, in case more armies do spawn. Alright, so we're going to fight right here. Let's go ahead and burn all of our cooldowns. Quick save. And hope for the best. I'm trying to kite this one into the explosive trap. Looks like they're gonna sit back and shoot webs at me. Pretty lame. All right. What would have been a snap of the fingers from my other general and other army turned out to be a climactic battle for the end of days for that army. While I'm thinking about it, let's go and do this.
Your book is going to be no good to anyone. You think someone being chased by an axebeak is going to get out your encyclopedia to find out how fast the thing can run?
I would hope that they would consult the encyclopedia beforehand. But if the reader is already fleeing from an axebeak, then their friends will appreciate the addendum describing the burial customs particular to that region.
There's always a silver lining. I just want to take a peek around the map real fast, see if there's any more paths that haven't been mapped. The few over here. I think I'll send this army to map them out.
I know what to do.
Hoping to run across the skeletal merchant. I'm wondering if this is the... It's Jubilost! It's a shame I don't have Regil with me. Bet you they'd get along great.
Follow my lead.
Some tiny ponies. Yeah, one who doesn't care about the bleaching at all, and one who's actively seeking a cure for the bleaching. Some demon blood, okay. Oh, maybe now I have everything for that last item. Unexpected sounds break the menacing, monotonous atmosphere of the world wound. Business-like chatter, the lazy neighs of ponies, the clatter of instruments, and rising above everything else, a rather expressive voice. A flying ship. I could even think of proposing such a thing. Next, you tell me we should travel by portals or streak across the sky in a winged chariot. And don't look at me like that. I know what you mean. But this car has experienced things you wouldn't see in your worst nightmare. And it's time to retire and put its wheels up beside the fire, axles creaking, as it tells its cart grandchildren stories of its wild youth. That I can afford more reliable transportation than this wreck. To this, I'll say that great explorers and discoverers set out on their expeditions on foot, and they didn't complain about it. You can't even survive comfortable ground-based travel in an ordinary cart. And with that, the owner of the expressive voice turns to you, and nods as if he didn't expect to see anyone else. Jubilost Narthropple. I'm just passing through. The name is familiar to you. Narthropple is an eccentric gnome scholar from Absalom, traveler, explorer, popularizer of science, journalist, and author of a dozen books and countless articles. Due to his overly sharp tongue, he's been sentenced to death or exile by no fewer than 3 or 4 nations of Galarian. Every year, new rumors surface of his death at the hands of some offended monarch or other. I've heard about you. You're a scientist and an explorer, aren't you? Nenio, absorbed in her scribbling, raised her head at the mention of the name. Jubilost Narthropple, the author of Distillation of Magical Liquids in the Field. Yes, that's me. I take it I have the honor of speaking to a fellow scientist. With a fellow scientist and a successful rival. A future successful rival. I intend to take your place in the department at the College of Mysteries. On my way to the headmaster's seat, naturally. By the way, the blood of mythic demons cannot be distilled by your method, and neither can the slime of an ordinary carnivorous blob. Obviously not. Jubilost doesn't seem offended. On the contrary, he's looking at Nenio with growing interest. My distillation method was developed for distillations carried out on the material plane, the liquids originating on the material plane. Demon blood does not meet these conditions. For extraplanar liquids, I developed a new method, described in my article in the first issue of National Alchemy in 4817. We've got a whole century to go before 4817. Yes, of course, that's correct. But the article was scheduled for publication in advance. Jubilost says, but he sounds uncertain. I wonder if has something to do with Sheikah the Mini and her ties with his quest. To be fair, I now require data on extraplanar entities for my encyclopedia. Therefore, demons in their blood as such do not interest me. And I have not yet finished a section on cult alchemists. The main focus of their work is potions based on demon blood. To support my thesis that the average cult alchemist lacks any real knowledge of the subject, I need to make a breakthrough in this field. An approach worthy of a true scientist. I wish I could linger and try to reconstruct my method from memory, but I don't have any time to spare. Jubilost sighs with obvious regret. To an encyclopedist, and at the same time, a practitioner and a field researcher. That's right, I'm Nenio. I just need to clarify a couple of details. I'll figure out the rest on my own. Of course, I'd be happy to be of assistance. Even if nothing comes of it, we could continue this discussion by correspondence. Is this some sort of scientific flirtation or what? It's certainly possible. Let's return to the issue at hand. To what degree should I saturate the blood with steam during distillation? My previous attempt resulted in an explosion, which suggests the durability of a standard distillation apparatus is not without limit. To what degree saturate what? Jubilost's expression changes drastically. You're using direct distillation. I am. Dry steam distillation is not a viable option. What absolutely, utterly inconceivable nonsense. In my second article, National Alchemy, I proved beyond the shadow of a doubt that direct distillation is not suitable for magical liquids, and only a properly isolated steam coil allows us to consider the distillation process effective. Jubilost glares at Nenio. In the section of my encyclopedia detailing the uses of distillation apparatuses, I completely unravel every argument of your work on the benefits of dry steam distillation. Ha! Jubilost folds his arms in indignation. Then his expression shifts to boredom. So you're interested in distillation, dear colleague? Excellent. Then subscribe to National Alchemy, and wait until my article reaches these parts. I'm afraid I'm in a rush, and cannot offer you any advice on the subject. So, where do we leave off, Commander? I've heard rumors of your death. Jubilost shrugs in an emphatic, dismissive way. Though these rumors never stop. I'm not a desk jockey, but a field researcher and a cartographer. I spend most of my time on the road, stopping only briefly to finish a paper or give a lecture. Every time the unknown of a new mysterious land swallows me, my detractors jump at the chance to spread stories of my death. I've been credited with perishing in the depths of the Eye of Abendego, meeting my end at the hands of the Whispering Tyrant when Last Wall fell. Many far less impressive deaths, such as being drowned by kobolds in a river in a place not marked on any map. Hogwash. I've not imagined myself immortal, but so far, I've been able to avoid meeting Pharasma. There's still so much to learn about this world. Jubilost's speech seems confident. There's no reason to doubt his words. Yet he mentioned the fall of Last Wall as a well-known fact. You know for certain, this nation is alive and well. Wondering about that, because I think one of the classes, I think it's the Knight of the Wall, originates from Last Wall. It's one of the gendarme classes. You just happen to be passing through so deep in the world wound. What's bothering you? Of course. I didn't mean to say this happened by accident. Passing through simply means I do not intend to conduct extensive research or educational work here. Just make a few observations here and there. I have one of your books. Would you autograph it for me? Oh yeah, we did find a few copies of this, didn't we? An unexpected request, but admittedly a pleasant one. Of course I will. Why not? Jubilost takes the worn book from you. His amiable expression suddenly vanishes. A culinary almanac. Of the dozens of articles of practical alchemy, history books, geographical reference books, and brilliant political essays I've published, you chose a cookbook. Jubilost glares at you, then sighs heavily. Of course, any recognition is good. You want a culinary almanac, so that's what you'll get. Here you go. With best wishes, the author. And if that's his stance on it, why'd he write a culinary cookbook? What's wrong with your cart? Oh, I suppose I should have led with this. Sadly, my cart is stuck, and my assistants. Jubilost casts a peevish look at the three gnomes shuffling awkwardly nearby. As it turns out, are completely incapable of applying the most simple practical skills in fixing this blasted wagon. I'd appreciate your help, Commander. All you need to do is attach the wheel, clear the road, and calm the poor ponies. The whirlwind causes them great stress. How do you know I'm the commander? I haven't introduced myself. Jubilost adjusts his glasses. Obviously, it's about my acumen. Really didn't expect a renowned scientist to be so ignorant as to not recognize the most significant historical figure of this region and era. You asked me to fix your cart. Me, the commander of the 5th Crusade, a word of mythical power. Why not? Perhaps your mythical power allows you to snap your fingers and make a new cart materialize. If not, I'd be grateful if you'd fix this one. I'll see what I can do. This is wonderful. And don't think me an ungrateful lout. I'll be sure to mention your generosity in the article I'll write about this encounter. I'm going to take some notes, and you may get started on the repairs, Commander. Alright, let's fix the wheel. After 10 minutes of work and a little bit of ingenuity, the wheel slides back in place, none the worse for wear. A thought just occurred to me, Commander, says Jubilost, who barely pays attention to your attempts to repair his cart. What do you think of your place in history? You've done the unthinkable. You've renounced your mythical powers. Do you regret it? You would have given up such power or immortality. Is this an attempt to interview me? Were this an interview, I'd be asking you awkward questions. I have plenty, believe me. Jubilost looks at you through his glasses, as if he knows your every secret. I could start by asking about the source of the mythical power that made all of Mendev consider you the chosen one of the gods. And then move on to asking, how does it feel to be the hero, one of the greatest scams in modern history? But I'm not doing this. I'm merely satisfying my curiosity. Perhaps my fate has been far from ordinary, but I'm satisfied with the path I've chosen, the person I've become. And are those forced to follow you happy, those who depend on you? Jubilost adjusts his glasses. Are you one of those people who goes ahead without bothering to ask the opinions of others? I did ask everyone's opinion before I chose this path. Most of them said I should keep the power, I think. Right? I think it was weighed in favor of keeping the mythic power. Then again, who am I to lecture one of the greatest figures of our time? Be on your way, and Desna will aid you. I'll just stand here by the side of the road and take some notes. You revere Desna too. You must have traveled far and seen much. The goddess smiles upon wanderers. Ah, a sister Desna, and of a very unusual kind. Jubilost looks at Arushla with curiosity. Yes, I've been to many places, and hope to visit many more. I'm surprised at your admiration. Does Galarian truly overshadow the wonders of extraplanar travel for you? In the past, I did not travel. I hunted. I saw no wonders. I did not understand the delight of walking the road, seeing new places, or making new acquaintances. So you've surely seen more than I have, because I could not see. My eyes were closed. Then I wish you to keep them open, and see all that you wish to see. It's worth it to spend a lifetime traveling, or even more than one. Alright, let's calm the ponies. The ponies' eyes seem oddly intelligent. You get the uneasy feeling the ponies were playing along with your attempts to calm them, chuckling to themselves. Still, they obediently stand where they're supposed to, ready to pull the cart. Hey, Mr. Narthropple, did you fall asleep or something? I haven't heard any snide comments or philosophical rants for a good 6 minutes now. Something is clearly amiss. What was that? An attempt to practice your wit at my expense. Not bad for an amateur. Wit is a useful quality. Sadly, it's not always accompanied by the intelligence to assess whom you can safely mock and whom you should leave alone. Hi, clear the way for the cart. Your efforts are not in vain. The pile of junk blocking the path has been swept aside. Well, that's it. I did what I could. What? Oh, yes. Well, I suppose I should be on my way. How unfortunate. I haven't yet satisfied my curiosity. What can you do? Time waits for no one. I have the feeling there's something you're not telling me, Mr. Narthropple. There's some strange slips in your speech and demeanor. Jubilost pauses. I must admit, acting is not one of my talents. I was hoping to casually run into you, in a completely natural way, then ask a few questions. But it is tricky to appear natural when this chance encounter takes place in the middle of the world wound, and you come from the future. Jubilost pauses again for dramatic effect. Yes, exactly as I said. Some of my friends, many in number, but acting as one, do the most curious things to time. Yes, Shikamini. I humbly asked them for an opportunity to meet the legendary commander of the 5th Crusade in person. I desperately wanted to take a few notes on such a fateful figure and Galarian's history for my article on the Age of Lost Omens. Hope you're not angry about this small masquerade. Even if you are angry, I'm still satisfied. Well, best of luck to you. I hope you come by these parts again. My apologies, but 1,000 more discoveries await me. I can't stay in one place for too long. I am glad to have met you. This conversation provided me with much food for thought. Farewell, Commander. Having already turned to his cart, Jubilost suddenly slaps himself on the forehead. I almost forgot. I was asked to give you this. Well, that was a really cool encounter. A toad statuette made of solid gold. Looks more like an idol than a decorative figurine. That's a reference to the inconsequential debates, I'm pretty sure. I guess it could also be a reference to the cave. Okay, achievement for that. Get the toad. The cave with the toads in it. Or the giant frogs. By the way, that was really neat. That's 2 references to Sheikah the Mini in this game. Because there was that one, then at the wedding for Elin, there was a person dressed up as Sheikah, but it hinted that she was actually Sheikah, so. Alright, so well, let's rest first.
Don't you realize how dangerous it was to jump off that cliff? You could have been killed.
But how else would we have learned whether the amulet of levitation sold to me by that malodorous boy wearing the false beard in that alley was authentic?
Alright, let's rest up. Wait, I just rested. I get it and all, but why a pirate? Why didn't you dream of being a regular, honest sailor? Come on, I wasn't serious about it. The stories I heard as a kid just stuck in my head, I guess. There are plenty of stories about pirates, but about honest working folk? Meh, not so much. Just rested twice in a row. Alright. I'll do one more thing here. Let's keep him there. We recruit all these guys and send them towards Setsuna's position. Alright, so that should be a pretty significant power boost to my secondary army. We'll have them meet over here. So believe it or not, I did lose track of the time. I don't know how long this episode has been. So I'm going to call it here, and in the next episode we'll enter the Laughing Caves, and then we will pursue Land's Quest. And then probably Final Veil since we're right here as well. So do this little triangle of adventure. And then we need to do Darren's Quest, which I had planned to do next, but I forgot to grab them. And then I do want to head over this way and take care of the city in the Wasteland. Also Polaris Fall. I believe it's a side quest, not a main quest. The main quest is these portals. So, but for now, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.